forest ground screams in pain as the soil cracks and parts, a foul rejection of its own forlorn state. The forest weeps as it births an abomination into existence. Pale, spindly fingers weave their way up from the ground as the soily dross vomits the vile creature forth. Deep within the dark and wretched forests of the Shadow Wilds, there is a legend that the lands themselves are so evil and corrupted that they gave birth to 4 beings of malice and contempt, known as Death Princes. These figures each hold their own domains, and are less guardians of the lands, but rather both prisoners and tormentors of it. Products of the Forsaken Land, but also bound to it, and forced to take out their anger and frustration on any who travel through their domain. The dense forest gives way to a small clearing in the trees. The ground is cracked and rocky. In the middle of the clearing stands a tall, abandoned watchtower made of stone and wood. The tower is roughly 90 to 100 feet tall and is crumbling on one side, revealing the 3 floors within. Just beyond the tower, you spot something stuck in the branches of a tree. It looks to be a human head, mouth slightly open, eyes wide, as if in perpetual terror, pale, dirty skin and no hair. Suddenly, the head moves out from behind the tree, and now you can see it is not a severed head resting in the tree branches. You see an 8.5-foot tall creature leaning out from behind the tree. Pale, dirty skin, human in form, fully naked. No nose, eyes that glare and stare uneasily at you. Long insect-like limbs that end in bony fingers that stretch and reach like twigs on a tree. The being has a stretched but muscular build, and an open wound on one side of its abdomen that looks red and irritated, exposing a few of the ribs within the gore. Their head is bald, framing a face that looks slightly smashed, like someone had taken a hammer to a nail, but the nail was the creature's nose. The creature moves slowly towards you, with a wide mouth that bears rows of small crooked teeth, like a distorted or overused saw blade. As you look on in disbelief and horror, the creature looks down at you and speaks.
Hello, I am Odar. What is your name?
Odar the Pale Crawler, Death Prince of the Shadow Wilds. He's a great mini-boss that you can drop into your campaign. He works great in any Forsaken location of your world, or even if you just have him occupying a ruin or a dungeon somewhere. I just recently homebrewed and then ran him in my own home game, and he really made for an interesting roleplay and combat encounter. You can use the lore that I created, or you can spin it to fit your game. I'll just touch on some points of how I ran him and how it might help you run him in your game. While Odar's appearance is horrific, he is not initially hostile to the player characters. He speaks plainly, and while being unsettling, he is willing to offer help in exchange for something in return. This makes him useful to have in a location that is dangerous, somewhere that the players are lost, or they're in search of something, or a place that they're unfamiliar with. Have him be an expert of the land so that he can offer help in finding what they want. But what he wants in return is their names. Not just to know their names, he wants them to give their names willingly to him. A good insight check will reveal that Odar has sinister intent or leave the PC feeling untrusting of him. What Odar does with a name that has been willingly given to him can be left up to the Dungeon Master. It can be a plot point unto itself. What I would do is maybe anybody who gives their name willingly to Odar in exchange for his help, they slowly start losing their memories. Each session you can have them roll a wisdom saving throw, say it's a DC 18, and on a failed check, they forget something about their past, or maybe even forget something that is directly tied to the quest they're on currently. That can make for some interesting roleplay and opportunities for them to roleplay their character in a way that they're starting to forget things, they're starting to lose themselves a little bit, and then maybe it's not obvious right away that it's connected to Odar, or maybe it is, but that can really make for some interesting character development in exchange for Odar's help. Or another option could be, once Odar has their name, he can call upon that character at any time to do his bidding. That can be a plot point that maybe comes up later in the campaign. Say they finish their main quest, and then all of a sudden that PC is summoned by Odar, and now they have to save that character, or now they have to figure out a way to get that character out of that situation. So it can be a setup for a plot down in the future, or you can use it as a complication in the immediate campaign. Really up to you however you want to use it. Now, if your players are anything like mine, they are not going to trust Odar for a second, and are going to end up fighting or trying to run away from him. In my game, the player who rolled a really high insight check on Odar warned the other players to stay away from him. This really made Odar mad, and he lashed out saying,
"If I can't have your name, I'll peel the skin from your bones."
I then described how Odar contorted his spine as he bent over backwards onto all fours and spider crawled up the side of the tower and lunged down at the party. It's really kicked off initiative in a fun way and made things exciting. Now, since most likely Odar is going to be outnumbered, I made him real nasty to fight. He has a lot of hit points and can inflict a lot of damage in one turn. You could give him layer actions or legendary actions and knock some of his hit points down, or give him a lower AC if you wanted. Really, it's just whatever fits your game. As far as actions, I gave him the option to either do 3 claw attacks that averaged 25 to 30 damage altogether, or 1 bite attack that did around 20 damage. But if the bite lands, the character has to make a con save or suffer a major injury. I wanted these injuries to be really brutal. Wanted them to feel like Odar was wild and that death was a possibility in this encounter. If I was going to run him again in combat, I would definitely have him try to attack as many characters as he can, rather than focusing on 1 or 2, or have him hide behind his tower or some other obstacles on the map, more for cover for him, forcing the players to move and be more tactical. In my game, one of the characters lost the use of one of their arms permanently, as well as had one of their eyes ripped out, which then gave them disadvantage on perception checks permanently. Another character had their leg muscle bit off, which then reduced their speed by 5 feet, and also they lost the ability to use the dash action. All in all, Odar can be a lot of fun to throw at your group. Really play up the creepy factor and build up the suspense to his reveal. I would recommend playing him with the fact that he is very willing to help them for the price of their name. Odar is a collector of names and wants them badly. But if he's pushed or denied too strongly, he would rather peel and tear the party apart than let them go peacefully. If you're playing in a 5e game, here is the simple stats that I made for him, but adjust them as you need for your group's level and the challenge that you want to give them. This is more of a template and something that you can play off than hard, fast stats. Let me know if you run Odar in your game. I hope you got some inspiration out of this video. If you need some other NPC inspiration, be sure to check out my book on Amazon, link in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to help grow the channel. I really appreciate all the positive comments and support you guys have shown me. Thank you so much. Keep building.